their pupils. Certain pupils have been assigned to each of God's teachers, and they will begin to look for him as soon as he has answered the call. They were chosen for him because the form of the universal curriculum. Can you get your bum out of here? Thank you. They were chosen for him because the form of the universal curriculum that he will teach is best for them in view of their level of understanding. His pupils have been waiting for him, for his coming is certain. Again, it is only a matter of time. Once he has chosen to fulfill his role, they are ready to fulfill theirs. Time waits on his choice, but not on whom he will serve. When he is ready to learn, the opportunities to teach will be provided for him. In order to understand the teaching-learning plan of salvation, it is necessary to grasp the concept of time that the course sets forth. Atonement corrects illusions, not truth. Therefore, it corrects what never was. Further, the plan for this correction was established and completed simultaneously. For the will of God is entirely apart from time. So is all reality, being of him. It's him and he and what have you. It was written in the 70s. The instant the idea of separation entered the mind of God's Son, in that same instant was God's answer given. In time, this happened very long ago. In reality, it never happened at all. One of those paradoxes. When pupil and teacher come together, a teaching-learning situation begins. A situation. A kerfuffle, a pretzel perhaps. For the teacher is not really the one who does the teaching. God's teacher, with capitals, so that must be important, speaks to any two who join together for learning purposes. The relationship is holy because of that purpose, and God has promised to send his Spirit into any holy relationship. In a teaching-learning situation, each one learns that giving and receiving are the same. The demarcations they have drawn between their roles, their minds, their bodies, their needs, their interests, and all the differences they thought separated them from one another fade and grow dim and disappear. Those who would learn the same course share one interest and one goal, and thus he who was the learner becomes a teacher of God himself, for he has made the one decision that gave his teacher to him. He has seen in another person the same interests as his own. So this goes back to chapter 1 from the Manual for Teachers. Who are God's teachers? A teacher of God is anyone who chooses to be one. His qualifications consist solely in this: somehow, somewhere, he has made a deliberate choice in which he did not see his interests as apart from someone else's. Pages are wet from the dogs running around. So, who are God's pupils? There you go. What are the levels of teaching? The teachers of God have no set teaching level. Each teaching learning situation involves a different relationship at the beginning, although the ultimate goal is always the same: to make of the relationship a holy relationship in which both can look upon the Son of God as sinless. Or, in other words, to recognize B'Tselem Elohim in one another. And when you recognize and acknowledge and also receive from the other this vision of B'Tselem Elohim, that moment that you share together, seeing one another fully, accepting one another fully, realizing that we are created the same, B'Tselem Elohim, in that moment differences disappear. There is no other. There is nothing to withhold or protect. There is just the being together in a, what A Course in Miracles calls, holy instant, in which you truly recognize one another as B'Tselem Elohim, created in the image and likely, very likely created in the image and likeness of our Creator, God, Elohim, Adonai, whatever, source, whatever floats your boat. There is no one from whom a teacher of God cannot learn, so there is no one whom he cannot teach. However, from a practical point of view, he cannot meet everyone, nor can everyone find him. Therefore, the plan includes very specific contacts to be made for each teacher of God. There are no accidents in salvation. There are no accidents. There are no coincidences. They are ready for each other. Each teaching learning situation is maximal in the sense that each person involved will learn the most that he can from the other person at that time. In this sense only, we can speak of levels of teaching. Using the term in this way, the second level of teaching is a more sustained relationship in which for a time two people enter into a fairly intense teaching, learning situation and then appear to separate. As with the first level, these meetings are not accidental, nor is what appears to be the end of the relationship a real end. Again, each has learned the most he can at the time. Yet all who meet will someday meet again. I'm looking forward. For it is the destiny of all relationships to become holy. God is not mistaken in his Son. The third level of teaching, this is my favorite level, occurs in relationships which, once they are formed, are lifelong.